Hello everyone. I want to talk to us today about handling conflicts in relationships. Handling conflicts in relationship. As long as we want to be sincere and truthful with ourselves, conflict in relationship or marriage is inevitable. Why? This is the coming together of two people that grew in different environments, different ideologies, were raised by different parents, and trying to come and mingle amongst themselves. So there will one way or the other be conflict. Now, misunderstanding, like we call it. And misunderstanding is normal, it's not a big deal. It's just how we handle those misunderstandings that really matters in relationship or marriage. Because misunderstanding so simply means two understanding missing each other. So it means in the first person place, that's an understanding. That's the best way that person sees that situation. In the other person's way, that's the best way that person sees that situation. So when the two situations are being seen in different directions, then we say there is a misunderstanding. Two understanding missing each other. So if we know the conflict is quite inevitable in relationships or marriage, so how do we effectively handle conflicts in relationship and marriage so that a little issue, a little conflict will not destroy our relationship or destroy our marriage? Number one, check your motive. Check your motive. Is the change you are trying to bring about in the other person born out of a heart of love or from anger? The correction or whatever you are saying to the person, is it all about to bring forth a change, or because you are trying to express anger? What you are saying might be sincere, but the way you say it might not be sincere. What you are saying might be sincere, but the way you are saying it might not be sincere. And if the way you are saying it is not sincere, it will not receive a sincere response. So you must check your motive. Ask yourself, this correction right now, this statement I'm making to the other person, is it because I'm expressing my anger or because I want to see a change? And once that is in place, you find out that there will be no much a conflict. Number two, attack the issue and not the person. Deal with the person and not the problem. So when, for instance, the other person in that relationship makes a mistake, deal with the mistakes and not the person, because the person is not the mistake. Do you understand that? Okay, I don't like this act you have done is a stupid act. It is different from saying you are stupid. Because when you say you are stupid, you are attacking the person and not the act and not the problem. So concentrate on the issue and not the person. You can't hate the person, but you might hate that kind of behavior. So when you find out that your attention is on the behavior and issue, you find that all your talks and all your speech will be centered or concentrated on the issue and not attacking the person. Number three is to listen rather than give a counter attack. You are in a relationship or in your marriage and you are being corrected or being spoken to about an issue. Take the pain. People love it so much to listen and not be willing, not be in a bid to give what? A counter attack. And the person is still talking, trying to express his or her displeasure on a situation, on attitude, or whatever it might be. And the next thing, you just put up a counter attack. That will always lead to conflict. I get the other person pissed off. And that's not the best way to handle conflict in relationship. Number four is to back your words with action. Back your words with action. If you are being corrected consistently and you don't change, you will definitely anger the other person. So if you are corrected once, twice, and you have promised to change, then make efforts to change. When you make people to keep repeating the same thing to you over and over and over and over and over and over again, you push them to a point where they tend to give up on you. Do you understand that? You push them to a point where they tend to give up on you because you make them feel like you are not really sincere. You are not putting any efforts to want to change. You just derive pleasure and joy in seeing that they complain about that issue all the time. You must understand in relationship that if someone say, I don't like this, if you will want to maintain that sphere and stay around that person's word, obey what the person said. 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 Number 5, speak from your heart. Speak from your heart. Be passionate when you talk, so that the person will really know you mean what you are saying and you are sincere about it. Not that you say it so casually and carelessly and the person just feel maybe it's one of those things you just say by the line, not something you really want them to work at. So learn to speak from your heart. Learn to speak from your heart. Number 6, don't keep records of scores and recall them in fresh issues. What you will be doing is that you are opening a closed wound or injury. Don't keep record of scores and recall them in fresh issue. When something happens, deal with the issue at hand. Don't say 5 years ago you did this, 4 years ago you did it, 3 years ago again you did it. You remember what you did last time. It tends to weaken people and make them not to be receptive to what you are trying to say to them again. Don't keep records of scores and recall them in fresh issues. You will be opening a closed injury. Number 7, learn to say, I am sorry. It doesn't reduce you. I've told you, if you want to have a successful relationship, you can get my message on 3 words that produces peace in relationship and marriage. I'm sorry, I love you, and thank you. Thank you. It doesn't take anything out of you. So learn to say, I am what? Sorry. Some of you know you are wrong, but because of your ideology never to say sorry to a woman or never to say sorry to a man, you vow and say, have you accepted it? Just because you don't want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry is just courtesy. It doesn't take anything out of you. It doesn't reduce who you are. It doesn't lower your value. It doesn't lower your respect. In fact, it has more value to you. It makes people know you know what you are doing and you value your relationship more than your ego. What did I say again? It shows that you value your relationship more than your ego. Number 8, train yourself to be able to face and accept correction. Be a docile person. Train yourself to be able to face and accept correction. Some people are just like that. They hate to be corrected. See, almost all humans don't like to be told they are not doing the right thing. You must develop that stamina. Develop that capacity to receive correction and say, I accept it. And 2 things I will do with it. I will check. If it is true what the person is saying, I will change. And if it is not true what the person is saying, I will just discard it. So train yourself to accept. That's why we say don't be counter-attacking. You just see somebody trying to correct something, you next thing you are putting up just counter-attack. You don't even want to hear what the person is trying to say. Number 9, don't use abusive words when correcting someone. Don't use abusive words when correcting someone. See, I'm sure you know you are very stupid. You don't know you are a fool by this thing you have just done. No, there are better ways you can correct people without using abusive words. The best form of correction is done with the exemption of abusive words. Because when you insult them, they see the insult and not the correction. When you insult people, they tend to see and focus on the insult and not the correction. So if you know you are correcting from your heart, and like we start with say check your motive, if you know your correction is to bring about a change in the person and not because you are expressing anger. Because why we use insulting words in correction is actually we are expressing anger. But if I want you to change, in fact I will make you understand and say you are intelligent, and as such you shouldn't do such a thing. You are a very smart lady, you are a very smart guy, and as such you shouldn't do such a thing. That's better. You are very sound, and as such you shouldn't act that way. It belittles your value. It makes people feel otherwise about you. You tell the person you are excellent, and as such you shouldn't do this, because it makes people have a wrong perception about you. People will receive this kind of correction more than trying to tell them you are just operating in mediocrity. You are stupid. You don't know what you are doing. Learn to avoid abusive words when correcting someone. And number 11, don't respond to correction with abusive words or negative attitude. When you are being corrected, don't respond with abusive words or negative attitude. That is to say, you are being corrected and you don't want to take it. You are not even interested in correction. You don't just want to be told you are wrong. And the next thing, maybe you will put up insults here and there, insult the other person for telling me this kind of thing, that I've not done this thing, where you are very stupid. You are putting up a form of defense that is totally wrong. You are responding to that correction in the wrong way, and too wrong cannot make it right. When you find yourself in a hole, don't keep digging. When things go wrong, don't go with them, because when we want to quench fire, we either use a fire extinguisher or water. If you add more fuel, you will intensify the strength of the fire. That's how you manage conflict in relationship and in marriage. Number 11, don't correct someone using examples of others that makes them feel inferior. Don't correct people using examples of others that makes them feel inferior. You mean to correct them with their friends, their contemporaries, their colleagues, and making them feel inferior and stupid out of life. You can't manage conflict that way. People will not receive your correction. You might be right, but you are wrongly right, because the way to which you are bringing for the correction is wrong. So don't correct someone using examples of others that makes them feel inferior. Say, can't you see the other man, how she's doing to her husband? Can't you see how she does? You don't do that. Especially women. Women hate that when you correct them with other people. Number 12, don't make the other person looks inferior or stupid by lowering their value because of comparison. Don't make them look inferior or stupid by lowering their value because of comparison. And number 13, don't correct anyone in anger. You will not always get it right. Don't correct anyone in anger. You will not always get it right. It will always end in conflict that most of the times get unresolved. When you are angry, relax. The atmosphere cannot be on fire and you are pouring more fuel. Just relax and do the correction some other time, and you will find that you have managed the conflict well. Number 14, make sure the atmosphere is right. Just like we say, don't correct anyone in anger. Make sure the atmosphere is right. If you notice that the other person is not ready to listen, there is no point forcing it on them and saying, I'm talking, you must listen. You can just simply ignore that for the sake of peace and just go. That's what shows you are matured. At the later point where everywhere is clear, the atmosphere is right, there is peace, you can now bring forth the observations you want to spell out and submit. Number 15, correct in love and with jokes. However, check which method works for you. Correct in love and with jokes. However, check which method works for you. So sometimes you joke about it. Say, baby, look at your head. Look at the way you came and left this plate like this now. You just play about it. But check which method works for you. Number 16, don't intentionally act and respond in a way to make the other person feel bad. That is immaturity. Don't intentionally act and say, some people have that mindset and behavior. They say, what are we see? The way I'm planning this thing. They begin to vow with the altars in their village that the way I'm planning it, I will say it, that this person will feel the pain and feel so bad about it. That is the worst way to respond to an issue or a conflict in marriage and relationship. Your marriage can work. Your relationship can work if you know how to handle and effectively manage conflict in your relationship. So go back to all my points and look into one or two places you are lagging or lacking, and see where you can make the necessary adjustment for any future you want that will not require a change from you, will not be different from your past. Any future you want that will not require a change from you will not be different from your past and your present. Thank you. See you some other time.